So let's take a look at this right now, because we got a lot of stuff going on when it comes to this whole situation with Gavin Newsom. A lot of people believe that they're not going to allow Joe Biden to continue to go on and try to run for a second term, but they're going to eventually change him out with Gavin Newsom. And a lot of people believe that because they see him out there. Now, you got to ask yourself this question over here. Why Gavin Newsom, who's been a very staunch supporter of all things COVID protocol, who's been a staunch supporter of all things Ukrainian war, of all things climate change, like right in the United States, California is leading the way when it comes to climate change, right? We're gonna do the things necessary.
We bomb the Nord Stream pipeline?
Newsom vetoes California bill involving parents' affirmation of child's identity in custody cases.
What does that mean?
This is kind of crazy. I'm going to read this here, and a lot of people are like, wait a second. It's a super democratically controlled Congress legislation in California, and yet this guy is going along against his own party and pushing back. Why would he do that?
The old Clinton two-step? When Bill Clinton would tap over to the right
Well, why do you
side?
think he would do this right away, Kurt?
Well, okay, DeSantis, who handled certain things right, is so unlikable that if he just adopted a bunch of DeSantis things, he has better hair. He'll be ahead of him, right? Is he good?
Okay, but why is he doing this move? Why would he go for a pop? Why would he go
electable?
Bingo! You hit it on the nose because it does make him. It makes him more of a populist candidate. Well, I mean,
I didn't know that was up in the air.
We have to point that out, and this is in Sacramento. A California bill would require judges to consider a parent's acceptance or affirmation of their child's gender identity
that was up
when weighing child custody disputes. Yes, this went to his desk, Kurt. Governor Gavin Newsom on Friday vetoed Assembly bill. He vetoed it 957, which lawmakers passed earlier in September. The Assembly approved the measure and sent it to the governor's desk on a party line vote of 57 to 16. So it was overwhelming, Kurt. In a veto message, Newsom urged caution that the bill's approach could be used to diminish the civil rights of vulnerable communities. That's a buzzword. If he's talking about civil rights, he's trying to talk to a more popular base, right? Moreover, a court under existing law is required to consider a child's health, safety, and welfare when determining the best interest of the child in these proceedings, including the parent's affirmation of the child's gender identity. Newsom's message read, "For these reasons, I cannot sign the bill."
Didn't they make it legal not long ago to knowingly give someone HIV? Didn't they make that, like, bump that way down in seriousness?
I don't know.
Yeah, California did that.
It did?
Yeah.
When two parents get divorced and cannot agree on the child custody, the decision is ultimately left up to the judges. Judges must weigh a variety of factors when determining custody. Bill author and Assemblyman Lori Wilson, a Democrat, said the intent of the bill was to protect the health and well-being of transgender children, and noted parents would not be required to move forward with gender-affirming health care. Lawmakers supporting the measure said gender affirmation would not be the only factor judges would need to consider it if it were to become law.
It is crazy that was put forth as a thing.
It was crazy, but it's even crazier that he's going against his own party's will here in California, but we understand why he's doing it. There's no joke. I think a lot of us here watch the Jimmy Dore show, who watch some of our other shows, understand and are waiting, are expecting for Gavin Newsom to come ushering on in as Joe Biden. They're trying to find ways, Kurt, in which they can help Joe Biden from falling down, to stop Joe Biden from falling down.
So
they put together a plan where we're going to make sure he doesn't trip or fall.
This handsome blank. So, okay, so whatever this tool bag that now I guess oligarchs are taking a look at, because look at his hair. It's great. Okay. And so the nonsense stuff that they've been pushing for the last how many years? 7 to 10 years that they don't believe in. They've just been shoving it in your face because it was advantageous at the time. They're now being cast aside like the religious right. Remember Bush, and they all loved George Bush?
Totally.
And now they're pariah and everybody's like, ew. And now this is what's happening to this lobby.
Well, if you really want to get Gavin Newsom in the White House, you got to make him seem like more of a populist, right? And they understand now.
He's got to take a dump on a Ukrainian flag before he gets...
I don't think he's going to do that, but check this out. This is 60 Minutes.
That voters are so fed up with what they see on the streets of their cities that as a politician, you've got to clean up those streets?
Yeah, well, that's generally the case, but that's not the inspiration for Care Court.
But is there a political factor in this for you?
As an electoral strategy, I'm termed out. That's not the issue.
What does that mean?
The politics here
Wait, what?
is compassion. The politics is purpose.
Wait, what?
You may be termed out here, but does cleaning up the streets of California factor into a potential presidential run?
I'm never going to overpromise that in the short run. I mean, we are struggling in this state.
You're not answering my question.
Homelessness. No, housing and homelessness.
People suggest that cleaning up California streets could be part of a larger political strategy for you.
I think that's table stakes. I think that's just the foundational responsibility of anyone that gets into my position. That's the day job. It's not about some grand ambition. Absolutely not.
Is that a yes or a no?
That was
a yes or no?
I don't understand anything he said.
Ending,
okay, wait. What does he mean I'm turned out? What does that mean?
Termed out. Term limits.
Okay, and then that's basic stakes. Is he saying that's just a basic thing you should do?
Yeah.
What he didn't do the whole time he was the governor?
What she is saying is that you have a different political goal why you're doing this now. And she's asking, are you doing this because you plan to run for president? That you're doing these moves right now because on the grand scale, on the national stage, it's going to make you look more appealing to be voted for.
Well, that's cynical.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't answer the question. She said you didn't answer the question.
Yeah, obviously. We guys got American Psycho hair.
So here's the thing. I've always been suspicious of Gavin Newsom. I've been suspicious about his recall. When he had his recall, immediately, and we're just going to play a little bit of this right now, in the beginning of it, as soon as he won his recall, he starts ushering in all these COVID protocols.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, dude, they did this on purpose so they can therefore then go back to the drawing board and then push all these things that they normally wouldn't be able to push. Right?
You're saying he's just a tool and really what you're voting for is the whims of a certain oligarch? Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Watch this over here, because once he won his recall, it was all about these other things. It was almost like it was a setup.
It appears we are enjoying an overwhelmingly no vote tonight here in the state of California. But no is not the only thing that was expressed tonight. I want to focus on what we said yes to as a state. We said yes to science. We said yes to vaccines. We said yes to ending this pandemic. We said yes to people's right to vote without fear of fake fraud or voter suppression. We said yes to women's fundamental constitutional right to decide for herself what she does with her body, her fate and future. We said yes to diversity. We said yes to inclusion. We said yes to pluralism. We said yes to all those things that we hold dear as Californians, and I would argue as Americans: economic justice, social justice, racial justice, environmental justice, our values where California has made so much progress. All of those things were on the ballot this evening. And so I'm humbled and grateful to the millions and millions of Californians that exercised their fundamental right.
When was this from?
This is from the recall, when he won the recall. This is a speech.
How long ago was that?
Oh,
I remember vaguely.
What is it? I don't know if it was 2020 or 2021.
So all those things are out the goddamn window right now.
Yeah, I mean,
so he is the perfect front man. I bet after Obama, they'd never thought they'd want a white front man again. You know, like a handsome. I bet they thought oh, I thought we were all done with the white American psycho looking guy as our front, but they took a second look.
This guy is it right here. This is their best choice right there. This guy is your choice right now if you want to get somebody, a Democrat out there that really has mass appeal. I mean, because he just plays the part. And now with him doing the about face on vetoing that bill, he seems more electable, because a lot of other people who are like the normies, the people who aren't involved in they're going to be like, oh man, at least he has some common sense to veto that bill. I'm glad he did. They'll use that as an excuse to push him over the finish line.
I wonder what
and same thing that we said the other day, we played a video with him talking about, oh, well, everything's different now. If we knew then what we know now, things would be different.
Everyone's a genius now. Back then when he was saying that, that's when he was not a genius.
Yeah.
But now everyone's a genius. And he just proved. See, I thought he screwed up on that interview with what's his head?
With who?
We played it on here where he's saying everybody was a genius and I would have done everything differently.
Yeah, totally.
But I always forget, nobody around the country.
No. Well, I mean, really,
this is a better Biden. This is a completely soulless, man whore.
This guy is dangerous.
Crust of a person.
This guy's dangerous.
Yeah, but his brain, he can talk.
Yes.
And his hair doesn't look like, a
he can
scalp.
bullshit better. He can sell it better. He doesn't forget things. He won't fall down. Right? He's cynical as can be. This guy is
I think I might vote for him now that you're talking that way.
Dude, I mean, a lot of the things this guy says too, and he's saying all the right things to the populace right now. Oh man, we messed up on COVID. But here you go, and you see, and that's why I never trusted him.
Reagan
because
wasn't
that last speech I played you, Kurt, was the reason I was like, oh my God. What did they say yes to? They said yes to science, said yes to protecting our children, yes to vaccines, yes to all that shit. Take a listen to this one.
I'm wondering if you see the potential, as some others in your party do, for a new progressive era, if you want to call it that.
This is a scary one here now because he's once again using the pandemic to usher in a new progressive way forward. And some people look at that as like, whoa, he's pushing in the fourth industrial revolution. This is about the Great Reset. Nobody has pushed the Great Reset.
This is the same skills he used to bang his campaign manager's wife back in the day. He used the same sweet talking.
Watch this shit. This is crazy stuff.
As some others in the party do, for a new progressive era, if you want to call it that, in national politics and policy, and whether there's the opportunity for additionally progressive steps, such as the ones that I listed on the national and state level going forward, because of this crisis.
We've had some very deep policy conversations in this space now for weeks. Let us remind, despite the fact that California was running historic economic output in terms of our GDP growth, in terms of our net, from job creation to low unemployment to record reserves, surpluses, the wealth distribution, the income inequality was not something that was substantially improving. And that's the case across the rest of the world. As IT and globalization detonate at the same time, you're seeing that concentration in fewer and fewer hands, the middle class feeling squeezed. Increasingly, the trend lines were suggesting what is self-evident become a headline, and that is we were going from a three-class society to a two-class society. So something was fundamentally flawed in that global context, manifested quite acutely here in the state of California, the richest and the poorest state with a number of the most impoverished metros in the country. We've long been struggling to address those issues. So I see this quite substantively through that lens, that equity lens, looking at those folks that never fully recovered. And you look at medium wages for folks coming out of 08, 09 in the Great Recession that haven't fully recovered, even today that are struggling. And so what is going to happen to those folks in this current crisis? And what's the opportunity, to your question, for reimagining a more progressive era as it relates to capitalism? And I'm a capitalist. I'm a small business owner. I'm a job creator. Well, my customers are the job creators. I'm a beneficiary of their support. And that helps build that demand that allows me to hire more people. And so as a former business owner, now governor, I have had that experience and I have that appreciation of the importance of consumer confidence, consumer spending, and a vibrant middle class. And so, yes, forgive me for being long-winded, but absolutely we see this as an opportunity to reshape the way we do business and how we govern. And that shouldn't put shivers up the spines of, one party or the other. I think it's an opportunity anew for both parties to come together and meet this moment and really start to think more systemically, not situationally, not just about getting out of this moment.
You hear this, man?
But more sustainably and systemically to consider where we can go together this historic moment if we meet it at a national level and a state and subnational level. So answer is yes.
That's scary, man. He's saying we're going to use the pandemic to systemically change it. Meanwhile, echoing. This was, I don't know the exact date, but I think this was
recent.
No. This wasn't that recent at all.
He's probably going to gibber anew to now. So
let me finish my statement. But what he was trying to say is that he's going to use the pandemic to systemically change the way society works. And that's great job for a lot of people. They understand that's the fourth industrial revolution. That's the Great Reset.
Have you been to the airport with the that? It's like that story. I don't know if it's Amazon or who it is. You just walk in and grab the stuff.
Of course I have. We talk about it all the time.
And
that's the society he's talking about.
Yeah, it simulates mass mob shoplifting.
Yeah.
It's really funny how much it echoes what you see on the news, and all those stores are going to close down,
Yeah.
and all the new stores are going to be just go in and grab this stuff. There's no way you can steal it because we're going to ID you. But everyone's ready for that.
This guy is great at being able to take the narrative and twist it and turn it. He's pretty much saying that they're going to use the pandemic to usher in the Great Reset.
I didn't even hear it. His hair's so good.
I mean, he would. That's what he was saying, and he has a great way of saying it, then kind of echoing the equity. We used to have a three-tier society. Now we're just a two tiers, just the rich and the poor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything he's saying, he knows how to say these things in such a clever way, in which you go, well, yeah, that makes sense, and you just go along with it.
Yes.
But what he's saying is quite scary, just like this right here.
Listen,
This is scary too as well. Governor Newsom signed sweeping climate measures,
yeah.
ushering the new era world leading climate action. He says all the good things.
Dude.
We're going to create this many jobs. When it's all be green, we get all this money, whatnot. But he's talking about quitting emissions. He's talking about getting rid of gas-powered lawn equipment. He's talking about going to all-electric cars. That means only certain people can own a car. Because how much are those cars, Kurt?
Look, we all knew the worst Trump was coming. The prophecy will come to pass.
Yeah.
The next Trump will be the worst Trump that you've ever heard of.
Yeah.
And that might be him.
But this guy is swifty and as clever as can be.
He's
And
handsome.
now he's once again, he's circling the wagons, and he's coming right now. We've said this for quite some time. They're going to go along with Biden as long as they can. And when they get a chance, they're going to just slip on in Gavin Newsom.
When it's his duty, he didn't want to do
Yeah,
this.
well, he's going to say that. You
I
know,
couldn't stand
I didn't
back.
want the presidency. I never thought I would do this, but on a national scale. But now I'm being called upon, so I have to do my duty
How much you
and
wanna bet?
serve the people.
Like Rick DeSantis, who, by the way, his Florida policies were better than the other people's by a lot for COVID. But he's so unlikable compared to Gavin Newsom.
Ron DeSantis doesn't know how to smile. He was like,
no, yeah. He didn't.
the whole thing. And he's crazy foreign policy-wise, but that's it.
Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Tampa, Boca Raton, Orlando, Dallas, Houston, San Diego, Bloomington, Illinois, Indianapolis, and Levittown, New York. Wow, that's a lot of dates. See you there.